Again, this is a continuation of a people who were enslaved and cut off in this land, treated as second-class citizens. When the Constitution was written, were considered as 3/5 of human beings. This is reality. This is who we're still dealing with. As far as the gangs, you know, I experienced certain things. I had a cousin, you know, who was pretty much like my brother, who was murdered in 1993. You know, and so that what y'all just see, I can relate to that. I can relate to that. You know, I'm grateful to Allah protecting me from certain things. But the reality is that in our communities, African Americans and Latino communities, the males and to a certain extent the females as well, we all affected by this. We all affected by the gang culture. And so we talk about solutions and things like that. We have to really want to identify the root of the problem, identify the problem. It's not just about rhetoric. You know, there's people that are doing life in prison. There's people that are dead, that have lost their lives. A lot of these guys, they don't even know why they're doing what they do. Because again, they haven't been given guidance. You know, and so anyway, what I have to say, you know, primarily in concluding, is that we want to really be about dealing with issues like this, and again, I appreciate your forum. May Allah increase you and reward you all. You know, come into the communities. Contact some of these brothers and sisters that's incarcerated and see what their side of the story is. You know, a lot of these, because they need help. A lot of these people, there's a lot of stories that haven't been told. You know, and the world needs to know the things that's been going on. And we need to go out here and really seriously try to save these youth that's still trapped in this culture. Many of them, they don't want this lifestyle, but that's pretty much what it is, you know? And so, in closing, I'll quote Malcolm, again, rahimahullah, when he was at Oxford University, right, and he was debating, and he said that he was a Muslim. He let it be known to the world that he was a Muslim. But he said at the same time, I'm a black man in America. And I live in a society whose political system is predicated on the castration of the black man, whose economic system is predicated on the castration of the black man, and whose social system is predicated on the castration of the black man. And so, again, if we really want to deal with the issue, we have to look at things that are done systematically. Why is it that when leaders in the African Americans stood up to resist certain things and lead the people, they was chopped down? That's how we got the Bloods and the Crips. It's not really a mystery. And so anyway, kind of said enough, and so I think we'll get into some Q&A. But may Allah guide our efforts, you know, guide us on the straight path. Inshallah, you know, raise us up. Well, alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum. So I guess if there's Q&A, any questions, we can take those on.
So if anyone has any questions, feel free to, if you're further up, come down and ask them, or ask them from the seat where you are.
My question is, like, for people that, like, say, like, you grew up in an environment, like, LA, environment, like, what parts or aspects of Islam actually feel like, what influence some of them, like some of your stories would provide motivation for people to change their ways of coming out of that gang life, affecting character?
You say what aspects of Islam do I think would be effective, maybe as far as
like what appeals
to the non-Muslim, the gang element? Yeah. Well, we know that the Prophet said you have to speak in the terms and language that people understand, you know? And so, you know, it's like what Malcolm said, first you have to wake the people up to their humanity. We can't go to these guys talking about, you know, the creation of the universe, maybe stuff like that. Some may be on that level, but you have to let them know why they in the condition that they're in, right? You know, and speak to maybe some political issues and social issues and things like that, right? But I'll just say on that, as far as, you know, the Dawa and things like that, and again, in the African American community, I study history a little bit. You know, we got to understand that it's a law as well that we have differences. You know what I mean? You know, some of us are darker than others and look different. That's a law as well. That's a proof of the Creator's will. That's a proof of the Creator. And everybody has something to offer. Okay? But with respect to your question, and African people, in my limited studies of history, what has affected our communities was dynamic leadership. Leadership that unified the people. If you study our history, it was leadership that united the people, because, especially like African people, we're kind of collective or social people. It's like one person or one event can kind of affect a lot of people. Even with the 92 riots or rebellion, you know, a lot of people got on that because people had the same sentiments, you know. And so, again, I think that we have to have the proper people in front. That's the beauty of having leadership, is that because when you have proper leadership, then things naturally fall in their place. You know, and so again, take an example of Malcolm, right? You see that what he was able to do, even in the Nation of Islam, you know, he built that. You know, because he was a person who had who was self-sacrificing, who had the courage, who had the ability to articulate to the people, right? So the point is that a lot of these guys, monster codes of these guys that's in the security housing units in prisons, those are really the ones that could straighten this out, you know? So those are the ones that we should be trying to aid and assist, right, to really come and deal with this, or at least get their take on it, so to see how, you know, we, you know, from other elements can come and reach these guys, because they gotta respect you, you know. So it just, you have to speak. You know, the point is you have to be able to speak to them in a way that they can understand, you know. And that's just showing them concern, you know. But we should, you know, on a practical level, you know, we should do things like feeding the people, you know what I mean? Those type of things, you know. But I think it's not that hard. It's a will to want to do it. You know what I mean? So. Yes, sir.
Islam. Do you support reparations to African Americans? If so, yes or no? And what do you think, like, has anything changed with Obama being elected as president?
Just yes or no on reparations? Reparations, you know, just say, I gotta, you know, I don't know no other way but to kind of come from the heart. You know, I'm Muslim, right? And again, as I was stating, we as a people, Muslims, we are, for the Africans, we have documented proof that a crime took place, right? So we believe in the right to self-determination. That means that we can choose to do how we want to live as Muslims in this society, right? And that's recognized or honored according to international law. And so reparations is just a part of that. But yeah, like I was saying, you know what I mean? It ain't nothing going to really, you know, real changes until this government, this country comes to grip with the crime that was committed. Because the reality is that the black community, the African American communities, are still suffering from the after effects of slavery. However many 50 Cents and Jay-Z's we got on TV, when you go down to our community, it's people that suffer. It's people that's mothers and fathers is on drugs. You know what I mean? So, to answer your question, yeah, support reparations, you know. For Muslims, because I'm Muslim, I mean, I'm not just, you know, as far as the African Americans, some of them, you know, they're content with this. But I struggle, you know, as a Muslim, you know, and so we believe that we definitely have rights to reparations and self-determination and things like that. As far as the second question about Obama, can you give me that again?
Oh, seeing as like Obama's African American, do you think like anything's going to change, like as far as the American government's approach or anything like that? Or has anything changed with Obama?
For what? For who? African American or period?
Yeah.
African Americans?
Yeah.
Well, they got a black face in the White House, you know, so that's changed, you know. Me, I try to be real about the situation. I just think that, you know, Obama, he's a nice guy, you know, very articulate, sharp, but I think that there's people